Throughout the annals of human history, stories of heavenly messengers, radiant beings, and unexplainable visitations have been woven into the fabric of nearly every major religious tradition, from the fireside tales of ancient nomads to the sacred texts that underpin global faiths. These stories have endured, often shrouded in symbolism and reverence. But what if, behind the allegories and divine metaphors, there lurked a different kind of truth? What if the angels and messengers described in these texts were not merely figments of spiritual imagination, but memories, fragmented, encoded, and misunderstood, of encounters with visitors from the stars? Could the revelations that shaped civilizations be the echoes of profound meetings with intelligences far beyond our own comprehension? As we delve into the ancient accounts, lost scriptures, and the evolving interpretations of modern times, we confront a question that challenges the very foundations of spiritual belief. What if angels were not supernatural entities, but advanced extraterrestrial beings, reaching out to guide, warn, or even mold the destinies of humankind? To explore this provocative idea, we must journey back to the earliest records, sift through the enigmatic passages of holy texts, and re-examine the most extraordinary tales with fresh eyes attuned to the possibility that the divine and the alien may, in fact, be one and the same. Consider the saga of Moses, the great prophet who, according to the biblical account, ascended Mount Sinai and entered into the presence of God. For 40 days and nights, Moses fasted atop the mountain, enveloped in a mysterious cloud. When he descended, his face radiated with a blinding light so intense that his people recoiled in fear, and he was compelled to wear a veil to shield them from the brilliance. To the ancients, this was evidence of a direct encounter with the divine. But modern eyes, steeped in reports of UFO encounters and abductions, might see something different. The transformation of Moses, his altered state, the distortion of time, the physical changes, bears striking resemblance to the testimonies of contemporary individuals who claim to have interacted with non-human intelligences. Often, such individuals describe missing time, changes in perception, and even physiological after-effects. Could it be that Moses was not merely a recipient of spiritual wisdom, but a participant in an extraterrestrial encounter, perhaps even taken aboard a spacecraft beyond the understanding of his era? Controversial theorists like Nick Redfern go further, suggesting that the tablets Moses brought down, inscribed with the Ten Commandments, were not only moral instructions, but messages from advanced beings advocating peace, cooperation, and social order. The Ark of the Covenant, that sacred chest said to house the tablets, is described in Scripture as a source of immense, often lethal power. Only those adorned in special protective garments could approach it, and its capabilities were legendary. Parting the Jordan River, toppling the walls of Jericho, and emitting energy so potent it could kill. Was this an artifact of divine origin? Or could it have been a technological device, misunderstood and mythologized by those who witnessed its effects? The enigmatic vision of Ezekiel, another towering figure of the Old Testament, adds further intrigue. In his writings, Ezekiel recounts witnessing a storm cloud descending from the north, crackling with flashes of fire and housing a gleaming metallic core. Emerging from the cloud were 4 living beings with dual wings, hybrid faces, and bodies like burnished bronze. Beneath them spun interlocking wheels within wheels, machines that glimmered like topaz and darted in any direction without turning. To Ezekiel, these were cherubim, angelic guardians of glory. Yet, to modern readers, his description is eerily reminiscent of a complex craft, complete with multi-directional propulsion, luminous energy, and occupants clad in protective gear. Ezekiel's further claims of being lifted up and transported across space, of being shown scenes beyond the limits of time, and of communicating through symbols and visions, mirror in uncanny detail the reports of those who believe they have been abducted by extraterrestrials. The motifs of missing time, otherworldly language, and telepathic exchange appear again and again, suggesting a continuity of experience that transcends millennia and cultural boundaries. But the reimagining of angels is not confined to a single tradition. Across the world's religions, angels are depicted as messengers, beings of light, wisdom, and power. In Hebrew, the word malak simply means messenger. In Greek, angelos carries the same implication. These terms do not inherently denote divinity. They might just as easily describe emissaries from another world, dispatched to observe, instruct, or intervene in the affairs of humanity. Perhaps, in an age before science and technology, the only language available to describe such encounters was that of the sacred and the supernatural. Nowhere is this theoretical shift more pronounced than in the cryptic Book of Enoch, a text excluded from the biblical canon but preserved among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Here, the story is not of benevolent guardians, but of rebellious watchers. Angels who descended to earth, seduced by human women and driven by their own desires. Their unions gave rise to the Nephilim, hybrid giants whose existence threatened the balance of the world. The Watchers, once guardians of knowledge, became outcasts, punished for imparting forbidden wisdom and technology to humankind. Is this merely myth, or could it be a distorted memory of a rogue group of extraterrestrials who, contrary to the wishes of their own kind, chose to interact directly with early humans? The Nephilim, in this light, become the offspring of interspecies mingling, perhaps even a failed experiment, or an unintended consequence of genetic manipulation. The Watchers, cast out from their heavenly abode, might represent a breakaway faction, exiled but not forgotten, their legacy encoded in the most ancient of texts. To the modern mind, this account resonates with the markers of alien contact, instantaneous travel, movement through dimensions, and guidance by a non-human intelligence. Even the description of Burak, a compact, glowing vehicle with the ability to traverse vast distances in moments, suggests advanced technology rather than mere myth. Was this a vision, a spiritual journey, or a literal event involving an extraterrestrial craft and its pilot? The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, another dramatic biblical episode, introduces the theme of selective intervention. According to the text, angels warn Lot and his family of the impending disaster and help them escape, while the cities are obliterated by a cataclysm so intense that it leaves nothing but desolation. Lot's wife, disobeying the command not to look back, is transformed into a pillar of salt, a poetic image perhaps, for exposure to some deadly force. Some theorists propose that the angels wielded technology capable of incinerating cities, perhaps even something akin to a nuclear explosion. Lot's evacuation, and the selective sparing of his lineage, hint at a pattern of extraterrestrial involvement in the preservation or redirection of human civilization. The concept of guardian angels, so prevalent in religious and cultural narratives, may also take on new meaning when viewed through this lens. These beings, said to guide, protect, and record the deeds of individuals, appear as constant, unseen presences in the lives of many. The Hebrew tradition speaks of Raphael, who accompanies and aids a man named Tobias on his quest for love and fulfillment, an intervention so subtle it could be mistaken for coincidence. What if these guardian figures are not ephemeral spirits, but permanent extraterrestrial observers, assigned to monitor, guide, or even nudge the evolution of human beings over lifetimes? Perhaps we are the subjects of a long-term experiment, watched and aided by intelligences whose motivations remain just beyond our grasp. As we sift through these ancient memories and modern theories, we are left with profound questions. Are angels truly the messengers of a divine creator, or are they distant relatives from among the stars, advanced beings whose visits were remembered as miracles and encoded in the language of myth? Were the symbols and artifacts described in Scripture, wheels within wheels, radiant faces, pillars of fire, attempts to capture the presence of technology so advanced it appeared magical? Is religious symbolism, in fact, a form of encryption, preserving knowledge that early humans could not fully comprehend. The implications are staggering. If even a fraction of these stories are rooted in misunderstood contact with extraterrestrial intelligences, then the foundations of our mythology, theology, and ancient literature must be re-examined. The parables, visions, and legends that have inspired billions may be more than moral allegories. They may be the first, faltering attempts to describe encounters with our cosmic neighbors. In the end, whether one believes that angels are truly divine or that they are, in fact, visitors from other worlds, the convergence of descriptions across cultures and centuries cannot be easily dismissed. Stories of beings who descend from the skies, who reveal mysteries, who wield powers beyond human comprehension, and who come and go with the flicker of light. These stories are universal. They speak to something deep in the human psyche, a longing to understand the unknown, and a recognition that we may not be alone in the universe. Perhaps it is time to read the ancient scriptures, not only as repositories of spiritual wisdom, but as potential historical records of contact between humanity and the stars. In doing so, we may come to see that faith and curiosity, reverence and inquiry, are not opposites, but partners in our ongoing quest for understanding. As we gaze upward into the vastness of the cosmos, we are reminded that our ancestors may have been doing the same, seeking meaning in the messengers who came from the heavens, and wondering, as we do now, what secrets the stars may hold. In this age of exploration and discovery, the possibility that we have been watched, guided, and even shaped by minds not of this earth is no longer unthinkable. It is a question that beckons us to look deeper, to question our assumptions, and to embrace the mystery of our place in the universe. For perhaps, somewhere among the stars, the true messengers await, and the story of angels is only the beginning of a much larger, grander tale.